What's up, guys? So today I wanted to do a live stream and just kind of try it out. I haven't done one in a couple of years. And hi, Mexicali Fish Keeper. Thanks for tuning in. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what I've been doing. I've kind of been in some analysis paralysis as far as what kind of videos to make because if I make too many videos, it ends up slowing down my ability to make progress in the fish room because anything that you video takes 3 times as long to do as if you were to just go do it. Some of the things I've been thinking about videoing are I've been breeding some guppies. I made a short about that you saw. I've been growing out the Celosi, which you can see in this tank right here. It's a 40 breeder. There's probably close to 100 of them. And I've also been growing out some angelfish, which if I was streaming on my phone, I'd show you, but they're up in the tank I'm looking at right here. Probably have about 100 that are of sellable size, but unfortunately probably will not be sellable because their finnage isn't doing too great. So I'm trying to find a way to give them away because I don't want to establish a bad reputation for producing less than perfect quality fish. And the big announcement that I wanted to give in this live stream is that I am going to try to sell fish online. I've thought about it for a long time, and I've heard a lot of the reasons why people don't do it and the different challenges that come with it. I've watched one video in particular from Brenton's Fish on how to ship fish. And based on that video, I'm pretty confident I'll be able to do it. I've ordered boxes from USPS to start working on cutting styrofoam to the right dimensions so that I can line the boxes and ship them. And now what I'm looking at doing is test running some shipping to different parts of the country. And this is where you guys could really help me out. I'm trying to find people from kind of all 4 corners of the U.S. Try to find people from all 4 corners of the U.S. Thanks, Mexicali, for sharing it out. I really appreciate that. And I want to find a couple people that are aware that I'm test running shipping fish right now, so that they can sort of agree. I'll send them some fish for free, and they'll basically just send me a video or something like that showing how well they arrived so that I can figure out if I actually have a good established shipping strategy. And once that shows success, then I plan on trying to ship essentially as many fish as I can. So some of the fish that I'm already starting to think about shipping, my cat's coming to investigate what I'm doing. I'm thinking of shipping the Chindango Celosi, hopefully angelfish. I'm not going to be selling any of the angelfish I have right now because I'm not happy with the quality, but in the future, I'm hoping to produce a lot. I'm also breeding bristlenose, and common bristlenose are sort of flooded in my area, so I have no local store to sell them to. So I'm hoping probably for a pretty low price because common bristlenose aren't that premium of a fish. But hopefully through shipping online, that'll be a way to sort of offload some because right now I am overloaded with probably 200 to 300 common bristlenose. So right now, those are the main fish that I'm sort of overproducing, and I'm trying to get that production a little more dialed in. And part of that will depend on how much demand I can find online. If I list the Celosi and they all sell in one night, which I think that's highly unlikely to happen, but would be great if it does, then I'll know I should pull every spawn of Psiloci. But I just want to get that information out there. If you would be interested in ordering fish online, please leave a comment down below. I don't have the website fully set up yet because, like I said, I have to figure out the shipping first, because the last thing I'd want to do is have someone pay me for fish and then have them not arrive alive and give them a bad experience. But yeah, that's kind of the big announcement. It looks like we may only have one viewer. If you have any questions, Mexicali, feel free to ask. Really appreciate you tuning in. And I can't really pick the camera up. I wish I could, so I could show a little more. But right now, something I'm really excited about is the guppies that I've started breeding. I'll try to pick up the laptop and give you a little bit of a look. So in here, I have Dumbo purple mosaic guppies, which you see by my head. And then you see in the little breeder box, we have a bunch of babies. And in addition to that trio of guppies, I also have two other trios, one of albino full red and another of red dragons. And pretty much all three trios have produced at least 20 to 30 babies. So I'm hoping with a few months, I'll end up with a lot of adults, and then I'll basically be able to produce as many guppies as I want to. And I know that my local store wants to buy guppies, and I'm hoping that maybe I can also sell them online. And online is probably a more lucrative way to do that, because someone looking for fancy guppies online is going to know what a Dumbo purple mosaic is, where someone going into a regular store probably just wants a nice looking guppy. Reading the chat here. Okay. Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in that, Mexicali. I'm not sure how we go about setting that up, but I would definitely be interested in participating in a stream. Thanks for recommending that. And yes, like you said, online best for line bred fish. Yeah, I feel like online you have more the ability to specialize in something that has less limited interest, but more people are willing to pay a larger amount of money for it. And that's good for me, because I like to get more particular into fish that maybe are harder to breed or just cost more. I don't know, just because I'm a fish nerd. Sounds good. So I'm not really sure where to go from here with this stream. Oh, it looks like we got some new people popping in. Welcome. So I guess I'll just talk about future plans. So I really do have the long-term goal of making this channel a lot bigger, and hopefully making a career out of breeding fish, because it's one thing in life that I've found a serious passion for, and I just want to pursue it as far as I can. Are you done with school? Yes, I graduated from college with a marine biology degree in May. And right now I'm working as a stagehand, physical labor, just to pay off my loans, because as anyone who's gotten out of undergrad recently knows, you're not going to be making $50 an hour right out of school with your degree. So right now my goal is just to pay off my loans, and I'm sort of trying to build my knowledge of fish breeding while doing that, just to equip myself better for hopefully a career doing what I love. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So yeah, I guess I'm sorry, I'm being a little awkward. I don't know what to do on a stream. Um, but some things I'm considering are I'm planning on setting up a tank for my elementary school. Um, and I guess mainly my goal is I want to make a living doing this because I love doing it. And I also want to inspire a love of keeping fish in others, because I remember when I was 5 or 6 years old and I got my first aquarium, it was a life-changing event for me. And if that hadn't happened, I have no idea where I would be right now or what I would be doing. So I really want to give kids the opportunity to experience keeping fish in an aquarium at a young age, because most of my viewers, when I look at statistics on YouTube, are between 25 and 45. And I'm not even 25 yet. And I have 13 aquariums, 11 in my basement, and have bred, I think, close to 30 species of fish. So I guess I really just want to spread my love of fish as much as I can, and hopefully also make a career out of doing that. I think I'm just going to keep the stream short and sweet here because I'm not sure what else to talk about. But thanks for watching, Mexicali. Let's see. I was looking up to get the... Okay, you set up one at your children's museum. That's awesome. How did you go about getting connected with the children's museum? Because right now I'm working on emailing the principal of the school that I want to install the tank at. And hopefully what I may also start doing is setting up tanks and then trying to sell complete setups, because I think what a lot of people struggle with is figuring out how to set up an aquarium in a way that it won't like have a huge algae bloom, or they want to have assurance that when that happens, that's a normal thing that will happen. Like one of my friends, his dad had an aquarium, and he knew that I kept a lot of aquariums, but he wanted to do it himself. And after about a year, he just gave up because he couldn't get rid of the algae. And I kind of offered him some advice, but he was stuck on doing what the person at PetSmart told him to do, which was buy Algae Fix and dump this chemical in your tank and buy this plant that is going to die for you. So what I really want to do is just always give advice that I know is true based on my own experience. Okay, they posted a wanted ad on a Facebook group. I'll have to look into that, because there are probably opportunities like that for me too, and I just have to go find them. And yeah, I just think I made a video about this in the past. A lot of people think keeping an aquarium is really hard, and I wouldn't disagree that there's work involved. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's easy, even though I've probably said that in the past. But if you spend as much time, I walk my dog twice a day. If I spent the same amount of time walking my dog and taking care of my aquariums, and I only had one aquarium, that aquarium would be the nicest aquarium that I've ever kept. Because one aquarium takes very minimal time. It takes more thinking as to when there's an issue, what do you do to solve that issue? But a lot of that just goes into talking to people on YouTube or in forums, or going into your local store and asking for help. And I just want to be one of those people that helps to answer those questions, or assist in finding the answer to a question if I don't know the answer. I am in Illinois. I'm pretty close to Chicago. I'm in the suburbs. Where are you, Mexicali? Yeah, sorry. I kind of like this because I'm definitely a big talker, and this gives me a chance to ramble and not stay on topic quite as much. I guess I'll ask, I know we only have 2 people watching right now, but I'll ask, what are you guys interested in seeing on YouTube? Like some things I'm considering. German blue rams are my favorite fish by far. And right now I don't have them. And the main reason I don't have them is I'm planning to travel to Spain for about 8 months, starting in October of next year. And what I don't want to happen is me to finally get the rams to breed after I get them and then have to leave and leave them for my family to take care of, which rams are a fish that I don't think you can just rely on someone following your instructions over text for 8 months to keep them alive. But I'm thinking about getting rams. I'm thinking about going really all in on guppies and just breeding as many as I can. Although I have a friend who's bred fish basically his whole life, who is pushing me really hard to breed angelfish because he says I'll make more money doing that. But it's not all about the money for me, and I'm also not sure that's true. But I guess I'm trying to find a way to establish a unique niche, because I feel like there are videos on YouTube that basically cover almost every fish topic there is. You could, if you watch every fish video on YouTube, you would be pretty near a master of keeping fish. But I feel like some of that information is hard to find. I've watched YouTube videos with 1,000 views that have a nugget of information in them that would be valuable to every fish keeper, and only 1,000 people have seen that video. So I guess my goal is to create a platform broad enough that I can share that type of information to a really significant audience and just help more people keep fish the best they possibly can. Let's see. Mexicali is in Arizona, in Yuma. Okay, cool. I've never been to Arizona. It might be, I lived in Florida for school. It might be hot for me, although I guess I am pretty heat tolerant after 3 years in Florida. The heat's probably drier there, I'm guessing, which might mean I sweat less. I don't know. But I'll have to come out there sometime just to see what it's like. Hi, Asia. Thanks for joining us. I hope I'm saying your name right. So if you guys want to drop in the chat, what are your favorite fish? As I said, German blue rams are definitely my favorite. But I'm always open to keeping new fish, and it's crazy. I've been keeping fish since I was 6, and I'm 23 now, and I didn't keep angelfish. I didn't breed angelfish until this year. I kept them once before, but until I've kept a fish to the point of breeding it, I almost don't feel like I've fully kept it. And I know there are fish out there that I would absolutely love keeping that I just haven't gotten a chance to keep yet. If I could, if my dad would let me, I could probably fit 100 tanks in this basement. Right now I have 11, and I'm just happy that I'm able to have that many, because he easily could have said no to tank number 3. Let's see. Oh, my mom tuned in. Likes to watch loaches eat snails. I did actually realize the other day that I was watching a fish eat a snail that I was surprised to see do it. I can't remember what kind of fish it was, though. It might have been a crayfish. I have these electric blue crayfish that I got not that long ago. But they grow. I'm going to have to make a video about it. They grow insanely fast. They went from like this big to this big in a matter of like 2 months. Let's see. Watching the chat. Xavier says, my favorite fish are African cichlids. Do you have an African cichlid that you like the best, or do you just like them in general? to this point, the only African cichlids I've kept are yellow labs, purple ACI, and Chindongo solosi. And I'm interested in getting rusty cichlids. I don't know if you guys have experience with them, but there was a store in Florida that had gorgeous rusty cichlids, and I don't know. I just got to try that fish because I'm shocked that more people don't have them based on how good these fish look that I saw. Let's see. Reading the chat. Mine are constantly changing what your favorite fish are. Yeah, that's rams have kind of always stayed my number one. They were kind of my number one before I even kept them. I don't know. I just it was like love at first sight. But I definitely what fish I love the most kind of shifts depending on what's going on for me. Minnows and rice fish. I have a ton of white clouds. That's another fish that I'm definitely interested in trying to sell online. I feel like maybe they're available to everyone without having to order online, but anyone that can't get them should be given away to get them because white clouds are, I would say, very close to bulletproof fish. Never need a heater if they're in a house. I understand they can freeze over and be fine. So realistically, if you have a bowl of water and you throw white clouds in, I would bet that they will not only do well, but have babies. So that's one fish that I really have come to love. Yellow labs because they're so peaceful. Interesting. I did for a short time. I had a person at school who had some yellow labs they wanted to get rid of. So they gave me, I think it was 2 or 3 yellow labs, and I put them with my solosi, which were about the same size. And the yellow labs bullied the crap out of the solosi. I was kind of surprised, but while I'm watching behind the computer, my tilapia are battling each other like crazy. So my experience with almost any type of cichlid, if there's any reason whatsoever to fight, they're probably going to fight, at least to a certain extent. But that is interesting. You say they're so peaceful. I'm probably going to have to give them another shot. It's just a matter of when I'm going to have the tank space available because I'm kind of maxed out right now. Let's see. Mexicali says you like drama fish. I do love my tub loaches too. They are only large fish. Ooh, large golden dojos. I have seen some very large dojos. For a time when I lived in near Seattle, I wasn't able to keep any tanks in my own living space because my aunt and uncle didn't want fish tanks in their house. So my solution to that was to befriend the local pet store and basically agree to work for them for free on all their fish tanks in exchange for basically free use of as many tanks as I wanted for my own pursuits. And that probably would have morphed into what you're seeing develop today with trying to sell fish. But I ended up, I had some life things go on and I had to move back home. But during that experience, I got to experience some very large dojo loaches. I remember one in a specific tank that, I don't know, it was like a rope, but it was a fish. It is very satisfying to see fish when they get that chunky. Let's see. Lately, I've been learning about starry nights. I was always, starry nights. I'm not familiar with that. Let me see if the stream allows me to look it up on my phone without stuff getting screwed up. Starry night fish. Okay. Yes, I have seen these. They're I think they're a kind of tilapia. If you can see on the screen right there. Yeah, I feel like I have seen those be pretty aggressive, but I've also seen a lot of pretty aggressive fish be kept in community tanks and do okay. Um, I feel like it's really just you got to try it and see what happens. Like there's some things that'll never work, and there are other things that you try it and it works for one person and it doesn't for another. Like I kept my creamsicle mollies with my Chindango Solosi at college for 8 months, and the mollies produced more babies than I could raise. I would pull them out, but some people would expect the Solosi to bully the crap out of them because cichlids are supposed to, or especially African cichlids, are supposed to be more aggressive and not tolerate being kept with other, um, I guess, less tough and less aggressive fish. Um, but I've seen a lot of things work out that people would expect based on reading would not. I love looking at cichlid tanks. Maybe someday when I have a space for a large tank. Till then, I just watch videos. I totally get that. Um, I would say, I mean, it depends on your limitations. Some people, maybe a 10 gallons, the smallest tank you can keep. But there are definitely, like, if you really want cichlids, you can keep rams in a 10 gallon if you know what you're doing. I kept the tank I was describing with the Solosi and the mollies was a 29 gallon, and that was perfectly fine. I had 5 Solosi and like 5 mollies and 3 bristlenose plecos, and that tank was easy, very low maintenance. Um, I'm bad about. I should do water changes more than I do, but I barely remember doing water changes on that tank. And part of that was because it was really hard to access water in a dorm. I had to run it out of a shower into a bucket, and I had to hold the bucket up in the air next to the shower. Um, and that was just a total pain. But I was able to breed. I wish I could just boom pull up the footage right now, but I had probably 50 Solosi and 100 baby mollies on go in a 10 gallon on my desk from what I just pulled out of that tank and put into that 10 gallon. All right, this is awesome. We got a couple people showing up. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you didn't see at the beginning, the big announcement is that I'm going to start trying to sell fish online. If you guys want to drop down below where you're from, I'm kind of trying to find people from kind of all over the country, probably at least 4 different spots throughout to test some shipping with, just to see if the method I'm planning on using is going to work before I do a hard launch of the website. Yeah, Mexicali says for making videos, do what you want, not what the algorithm says. I definitely agree with that. I guess my only thing I'd say in addition to that is part of what I want is to reach a broader audience. So I feel like, and part of the enjoyment of making a video is seeing it achieve success. So I'm kind of trying to balance, like, if I was doing what I want to the max, I would get German blue rams right now and try to breed 1,000 of them just because I love German blue rams. But whether that's the smart thing to do is hard to know. And in my life experience, a lot of times when I've made spur of the moment decisions or acted too quickly, I've ended up regretting it in the future. So I'm kind of trying to temper the do what I want with do what makes sense, and also just kind of what makes sense long term from a, because if I'm going to sell fish online, I'm going to need people online to know about my website. And the best way to do that is what I'm doing right now, talking to the people and hopefully talking to more and more people as I produce videos with more views. Unless your goal is to become YouTube famous, then that a whole lot of money and low morals. Yeah, I wouldn't. My goal isn't to become YouTube famous, like to get rich. It's more, like I said, like to educate people, and the more people your video reaches, the more value it has, and the more of a difference it can make. So, like a video I made that I really like and I think would help a lot of people is how to acclimate fish the right way. Because plop and drop, if you're watching and you know what that is, that's great. Basically, I used to acclimate fish by floating the bag in the tank, opening the bag, slowly putting a little bit more water in until it was like as much water in the tank in ratio to water in the bag, and then release the fish into the tank. But now what I do is completely different. I just float the bag to acclimate to temperature, and once the temperature is the same, I dump the fish water through a net into a bucket or something that doesn't go into the tank, and then put the fish in. The reason I do that is because there are a lot of things that can go wrong with mixing your tank water with the water the fish came in. If the ammonia nitrite or nitrate are really high in the water in the bag, they may be neutralized by the fact that the pH of that water is really low. And if you introduce water from your tank that's higher, it can retoxify those pollutants and kill the fish in the bag. So that's one thing that's bad. Another thing that's bad is adding the water that's in the bag to your tank, because there's almost no chance that the water in that bag is going to improve the conditions in your tank. It's only going to potentially introduce disease, pollutants, or any number of other things that you're not going to want in your tank. So as far as like getting YouTube famous goes, I don't want to get YouTube famous so I can make $1 million on YouTube. But if I have 100,000 subscribers and 100,000 plus people watch that video, that's going to keep a lot more fish alive and prevent them from being acclimated incorrectly than when I'm at 400 subscribers. But I totally get what you're saying. I guess if there's any part of me, there's part of me that does want to be YouTube famous, but that part is more because I want to be like, wow, I made these awesome videos and this many people think those videos are awesome. But that's a totally different thing. Let's see, reading the chat here. Jorge told me to come here, so I did. Thanks for coming, Gil. Focused for beginners. Yeah, I would agree. I would say when a more advanced topic comes up, just based on what I'm doing, I definitely discuss it. But I think beginners are the people who need the most help. And that's the easiest audience to have a really positive impact on, just with even the more basic things I know that someone keeping their first aquarium would not know. Join the Fish Fam if you haven't already. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that. What's the best way? So you say join the Fish Fam. What's the best way to contact you guys to get involved with that? Yeah, if you look at any of the bigger channels, they've been at it for 10 years plus. Yeah, I definitely know it's not going to happen overnight. And like I said, I'm hoping that I'll be able to breed fish as something that is my primary focus for a lot of my life. So I'm hoping I'm hoping I'll start making videos more regularly and continue doing that for the foreseeable future. Hopefully 10 years plus. All right, guys. Well, I'm kind of running out of stuff to talk about. So I think I'm going to end it here. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have any suggestions, okay, start by moderating some of us and we'll be able to add links on your live stream. Okay. Yeah, I'll since I'm going to end it here, I won't do that now, but definitely on the next one. I'll try to work on moderating. I'm trying to figure out how to manage more of the setup of the stream before going live. I guess maybe if I schedule the live a half hour later than when I'm on the computer setting it up, then we can kind of figure that out. But I'd definitely be interested in doing that. Being YouTube famous isn't all it's cracked up to be. These days, I don't even walk down the street without people not knowing. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the chances that I get that famous from making videos about breeding fish in my basement are low, but we'll see. That'd be pretty crazy if I'm running from the paparazzi, the fish breeding paparazzi. But all right, guys. On that note, it was great having you all, and hopefully, if I don't have too much work in the next week, you'll see a video coming out soon. I don't know which video of the 5 ideas I have in my head I'm going to go with, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time.